Hello there and welcome to another of the Spink Medal Department podcast, this time for the 26th of July sale. We've got just shy of 600 lots and it's a much increased sale from the last time, but the level of research is still there and there are some super things on the table next to me, as you can see. And thank you for all of you watching on YouTube and for the comments. Your prayers have been answered. As you can see, it's a full table. And we'll kick off with something which is, as always with us, quite unique. It's the awards and a Queen Victoria's scarf awarded to Lieutenant Colonel Colclough of the Devons. This is a absolutely unique thing. In the last months of Queen Victoria's life, she knitted 8 scarves for troops who were fighting in the Boer War. 4 of these were awarded to British troops and 4 of them were awarded to colonial troops. It wasn't the case that they were simply bestowed upon people. They were actually balloted to the men of the regiments who had fought with distinction in the Boer War. So it effectively is, it's the most gallant man in the battalion who his comrades felt that he deserved it. It wasn't the commanding officers, it was the man's man as such. So to find this is simply remarkable. It's in terrific condition. As you can see down here, Queen Victoria has actually signed it. And then you've got his awards. He fought in India, Boer War, continued to fight up to the First World War, and then you've got his colonial decorations and long service medals. This is believed to be the only example of the scarf available in private hands. The remainder are in museums across the world. So it's a truly remarkable item. We've put an estimate of 8,000 to 12,000. It is sold by order of the family, and so it's a once in a generation chance to acquire something like this. So, do read the write-up. It's fully described, and you'll see lots of interesting pictures and more stories about him. But a quite unique item. So yes, that kicks us off. We'll then go on to 2 absolutely spanking special forces groups we've got, which are the front cover items of this sale, and we've actually dedicated a whole section to them. It covers just 3 lots, but they are 3 absolutely superb. The first lot I will talk about is this QGM BEM group of 7 to Sergeant Tony Hoare Green Howards, which is just absolutely remarkable. He toured first Northern Ireland and completed 7 tours right at the height of the Troubles in the 1970s. During this time he transferred into 14 Int, which was the covert operations side of the British Army in Northern Ireland, and most of his time will have been spent undercover, behind the lines as it were, and probably with a Walther PPK strapped to his ankle. You can read more about that in the catalogue, but what I would like to talk to you about is his BEM. He was awarded the QGM for his services in Northern Ireland, but I'm going to go and talk about the BEM and bring you on to Bricksmiths, this book here, which Sergeant Hoare is mentioned quite a lot, and it's a truly, again, it's just remarkable. It's at the height of the Cold War this time. Sergeant Hoare is a hugely knowledgeable on covert operations, and he's sent to the British mission in Berlin to go and basically spy on the Russians. It's as simple as that. It's coded as a diplomatic mission, but it is British military spying, and the Bricksmiths book really does cover what was going on with these guys. And I'm going to read you his citation for the BEM, which tells you basically what he was up to on this day. His performance reached a peak on the 1st of May 1980, and his actions on that date deserve special recognition. He was tasked as Tour NCO to accompany Captain MacLeod to certain areas where useful physical intelligence might be obtained due to the relative stand-down of Soviet forces on May Day. One of the tasks of the tour was to endeavour to effect entry into the Soviet armoured vehicles if the opportunity presented itself. On this day, such an opportunity did present itself, which was fully exploited due to the experience and skill of Captain MacLeod, who was ably assisted by Sergeant Hoare. The two were able, after a long, careful and potentially hazardous reconnaissance, to enter a building containing Soviet T-64 tanks. These were the new tanks which had just come in, and we basically wanted to find out what was going on with them. I'll go back to the citation. The results of this exploit were quite superb and were in no small measure to Sergeant Hoare's professional skill, coolness and courage, and his total regard for his own safety. Throughout the period in the building, he and Captain MacLeod were at great personal risk, under constant strain, deep in hostile environment, and with no way out if detected. Always a possibility in such an area, irrespective of Mayday. The dedication to duty, regardless of his own safety, coolness, skill and vital assistance to his tour officer were of the highest order and deserving of special recognition, which I strongly recommend. So you can see it's a BEM, but you read the story and it's completely out of the ordinary. Just to talk about what they were doing, breaking into Soviet arms stores. A little while after, as documented in Bricksmiths, an American group tried to do a similar thing and were shot on sight. So we can see that Sergeant Hoare really was in the thick of things. This is lot 357 and carries a pre-sale estimate of 18 to 22,000. So again, have a look at the catalogue. There are some excellent photographs in there that we've managed to find, and some extra stories about what he was doing. Height of the Cold War, really worth a bid. So get in touch. And next we will move on to lots 358. Again, it's a group of 7, and this one is sold by order of the recipient. This is the group of 7 to Di Harvey, SAS, those 3 magical letters. So we've got his group of 7 here. Di is selling these for the first time on the market, and they are again an absolutely remarkable group. You look at what medals he's got. He's got UN Cyprus, a GSM for Northern Ireland, a Falklands, a Gulf War medal with clasp, the Iraq reconstruction, and then 2 Omani awards. And so I'll just give you a brief précis of his career, but it really is quite remarkable. He left school at a young age and joined up into the Hampshires and was straight away off to Northern Ireland. He then completed and was selected for the SAS. His first tour was to the Falklands, and this involved being inserted behind the lines with a forward group who effectively patrolled and did reconnaissance of the enemy positions in the Falklands. And after that, they withdrew and were put on fighting patrols for the rest of the tour of the Falklands, including one absolutely just all hell broke loose at Port Stanley. And again, read about that in the catalogue. It is a great action, and he does give some really super quotes. We'll move on to, we'll go back to Northern Ireland with him. So he then served another 3 tours, having served 4 with the Hampshires. During those tours, he was in a similar role to Sergeant Hoare, doing what we've termed black op deletions of IRA members. So much of that obviously can't be disclosed, but it is it's a remarkable piece of time, and it's a piece of history in these medals. During the Gulf War, the SAS were originally not meant to be involved, but with Saddam firing his Scud missiles into Israel, trying to draw them into the conflict, the SAS were deployed. Di was in this role as a forward air commander for the Scud hunting missions, and then was also went over the line into Iraq with the armoured resupply column, which met at Wadi Tubal. There's a really famous painting which we've demonstrated in the catalogue, which shows you what they did, and it's in true SAS style. The men had gone off to Iraq, and some were all over the place, but they'd still meant to have the sergeant's mess meeting, and so it was decided. Peter Ratcliffe, who won a DCM in the Gulf War, they all met at Wadi Tubal, and they sat down, all the men, having just some of them been fighting, some of them done the resupply column. They'd been doing all sorts of things behind the lines. And what did they discuss? They discussed the carpet and the furniture for the sergeant's mess back in Hereford. True SAS panache, and a great painting, just a great story. Following this, he left the SAS, and his commanding officer gave an absolutely glowing report for him. Following this, he went out to Oman and was doing private security work out there, and was also involved in setting up the Special Forces arm of the Sultanate's army, which are the 2 awards there. He then went on and did some private security work in the Middle East and was picked up by the Development for International, the government, and was out in Iraq for the 2003 bombing of the Canal Hotel in Baghdad as a personal security guard for a British ambassador. And he gives a great story of how, for the sake of a cup of tea, it effectively saved their lives. The bomb went off extremely close to where they were, and it's quite a politically important event, the Canal Hotel, because it led to the withdrawal of UN from Iraq at the time. So again, it's an absolutely remarkable group, and do read the catalogue entry. This one carries a pre-sale estimate of £15,000 to £20,000, and as you can see here, I'm actually accompanied by a few bits of original kit. So we've got his the famous SAS beret from his time throughout his career, and here, which is also photographed him wearing it in the Falklands. This is a smock he wore during that tour. We've also got field maps. We've got Trangier, the kit, and so there are some really super things that one just doesn't see with regard to Special Forces. An absolutely super group, and do have a look, ask questions if you'd like to see anything more about them. Do come in and view them. But 2 really super Special Forces groups which haven't been seen on the market for something like this for a very long time, and we believe it's the first thing on the market, Dye's group, which is to do with the scud hunting and the Iraq reconstruction. So both of them are completely unique groups, so absolutely great. And following on from the from these Special Forces groups, we've got a good selection, as always, of gallantry. The single campaigns are also quite strong. But also, as always, we always get some really super foreign orders. As you can see here, this is a Breast Star of the Order of the Crown of Johore. This is the oldest Malaysian order and probably the scarcest. Only 5 of these are awarded per year. It's the personal gift of the Sultan. So an absolutely beautiful example. It's in platinum and white gold. It's set with approximately 3 carats of diamonds, and it's also embellished. As you can see, we've got rubies, we've got sapphires, we've got emeralds. The detail of this piece is absolutely remarkable. This one carries a pre-sale estimate of £5,000 to £7,000, and we expect it to do very well. So come in and view it. The viewing is the day before the sale, which is Tuesday the 25th of July. The sale is on the 26th. And we'll start at 10:30 sharp. We've got 577 lots, as I say. A good range of things. We've got 3 named collections. We've got a collection for Dunkirk, which obviously, with the film coming out on the 21st by Christopher Nolan, some of those guys in our catalogue will be in the film. You've also got a collection of Korea. We've got a rather nice couple of casualty medals, few wounded, so that's rather interesting to the Welch Regiment. So all you Welch collectors out there, get ready. And also a rather fine collection of Yeomanry Awards formed by Major Stu Pemberton. We had the pleasure of going and meeting Stu out in Australia, and an absolutely super collection of Yeomanry. Some really rare awards, so again, give that a read. And I think that's about it for me. We've got the sale coming up, so the viewing will be the day before. The catalogue is now online, and I'm sure it's with you at home. Any more questions, please do not hesitate to give us a call. And I look forward to receiving your bids in all usual ways, whether that be over the internet, on Spink Live, or through the sale room. By post, do give me a call if you'd like to leave a commission bid, or through the auction team, or even better, come in person, 69 Southampton Row, and we'll start at 10:30 sharp. We'll be out in Grand Rapids, Michigan for the OMSA convention in August, and then we also look forward to seeing all the British collectors at the ERMRS convention in Stratford-upon-Avon in September. So it's quite a busy time for us. There's no summer holidays here, there's just more medals, and so thank you very much. Goodbye.